Hi everyone. In this video we are going to see CSS Wrap 2025, which has discussed 22 features which were introduced in 2025. In this video we'll go through their if statement, uh, which they have mentioned somewhere here. So we'll see what is the feature and how does it work. Conditionals in your CSS for dynamic styling. Try this demo. We can try this demo, which is here. Chrome for developers MDN. If limited availability, this feature is not baseline because it does not work in some of the most widely used browser. So this is not yet supported in major browser. If you see this Mozilla and Safari, they don't have support for it. Edge and Chrome has, because both of them are Chromium based. So the if function in the CSS lets you set different value for a property based on a conditional test. Think of it like a ternary operator in JavaScript, but for your style sheets. It provides a cleaner and more concise way to handle dynamic styling compared to writing multiple verbose, media, and supports block for single property changes. The syntax is straightforward. If function takes a series of conditional value pairs separated by semicolon. So if you say if condition 1, then value 1, condition 2, then value 2, else condition. So it's like if, else if, and else. The first condition will be evaluated to true, will have its corresponding value applied. You can also provide an else fallback value. Currently if can be used with 3 types of queries. So media query, for media queries, supports for feature queries, style for style queries. One example of using if is creating inline media queries. This allows you to adjust styling for a different viewport sizes or devices capability without writing separate media block. So for example, you can create a responsive layout that changes from column to row based on viewport orientation. So let's say you are writing a responsive layout and it has a display flex. Now flex direction. If media orientation is landscape, if that is the case, then show row, else you can use column. So this is interesting, but this is only supported in Chromium based browser as of now. Mozilla and Safari is yet to support this. The approach is more concise than a traditional media query, which requires you to define the styles into separate places. With if, you can keep the logic for a single property in one place, making your CSS easier to read and maintain. Change the orientation of layout in this code pen by opening the CSS or side pen. So if you do this, you saw this, right? You add monster gallery, the gallery changes its layout. So if you see this, so this is interesting, and we can see the code base as well. So this is HTML which has monster card, multiple monster card wrapped in responsive layout. And then there is support. My browser does not support if code. Try again in Chrome. This if support note is added if it's not supported. So if you come here in the CSS part, in responsive layout, they have mentioned displays flex direction is if. So let's try to I guess we cannot edit this. Okay, if we need to edit this, we would have to do this here. So here we can practice this so that we remember this. Flex direction, you can do something like if this, wherein this is the block, and here you can write anything, media, not like this. Basically you do anything, and then you, this is a if block, and you do else, and you do this. No, I guess I am writing it incorrectly. So if has this, else this, right? So here we say media, and it should have orientation, let's say landscape. Orientation is landscape, then row, else column. So this way if we remove this, it should work fine. And this is a monster card which has a border radius. Every monster card has a border of 1 pixel and border radius of 0.75 rem, padding of 1 rem, text align center, background color light dark, and this is the, I'm not sure what is the syntax, what this syntax mean. And P has a margin bottom of 0, so P tag has a margin bottom of 0. Similarly, monster card image would be max width 100%, height auto, and border radius would be somewhat like this, wherein if you have to curve on the top. Aspect ratio is 3/2. This is interesting. If we remove this, it's like this. If we do this, it would be like this. And if we do this, if you are doing aspect ratio, so this is interesting. You can add aspect ratio, and if you say 3/2, everything would fail until you add object fit, which is cover, and then this looks good. And there is a support note which has this, and for support note, I guess if supports, this is interesting. We can see supports, if it supports flex direction, then display none, flex direction. So here is the case, if media, what is this, I did not get this one. So if you see this is a single line of code which says for @supports you can do flex direction, which would be if media orientation is landscape, then row or else column. So flex direction, and what is supports, and if we remove this, what happens? The browser does not support if. Try again in this. So they are saying okay, got it. So by default you would have this supports note, and if, and there is a support note, and if it supports, then flex direction. Your browser does not support code if block is not supported. And if we uncomment this, then it says it supports if flex direction, if this, then do this row column, flex direction is set, and displays none if it supports flex direction, and if it supports this thing, then displays none. If it doesn't support this, then displays. Okay, got it. So with display, they are just validating if block runs, then it has a support and you can utilize this. Interesting. So that was basically if statement. So let's recap. If is basically a new addition to CSS in 2025, which introduces basically if, else if and else block, and it has a current support for Chromium based devices, and Safari and Mozilla is yet to support this. And you can use this for media queries, you can use it for supports, and use it for style. We have checked it for media query, and we have checked it for media query you can use like this, and we have utilized it for supports as well. And similarly you can utilize it for style queries. And we have tried this, so this is the example. And if you do this, you see this. If you do this, if you see this. And if we just we are not able to remove from here, but you can try it separately. With this you should be able to check it is working with all the three. And if it doesn't have support, you can just basically let the member know that you don't have support for this. So yeah, that was if statement from CSS. Thank you.